Dear Source God, I'm confused. And I've been confused for a long time on my spiritual journey and unraveling things and trying to understand things. You don't make any sense. And I don't think anyone understands you. I don't think anybody knows you, and I sometimes wonder how you feel about that. Because, people from my time never met you, so there's a lot of reasons for me to just give up, but I don't. What I decided to do was to move forward somehow. It's been confusing because there were times when you were there for me. There were times when you weren't. And I was still trying to understand that. No one could help me understand that. I have some good news. I healed my sense of self-worth. It took me a long while to figure out what happened to me. Remember when I was in a religious cult? Remember when I didn't know it was one? And remember when it used to feel good until it didn't? And then remember how I eventually realized it was the limiting beliefs that actually made the religion hard on me, and that's because those limiting beliefs were not loving. And then there begs the other question about what is love. Some people got some really confusing ideas on what that is. It's so funny, like I can experience it and not know that I experienced it until I experienced the opposite, and then I had to get some understanding, intellectual understanding what happened to me. But I had to figure that out through life. And by being brave, even though I'm actually really scared and really lost. I don't have any pride. I don't feel like there's anything that I absolutely know. In fact, it's the people that claim that they know things actually are hurting others the most. And I always took the observation, and I was honest with my observations. But there's just so much lines of deception. And I hate it that not many people can relate to me because I don't understand, like, what do you want from me? I don't know. What do you want from anybody? Everyone's got strangeness. But anyway, I'm telling you how I healed my sense of self-worth. I think you'd be happy for me. But I don't know, it seems like there's just like weirdness about people just don't seem to understand their own experiences. But their experiences leave an impression on them, interpreted by their own ego. That they think they know things. And I have experienced this too. And there's great irony in that. Because it's not that I meant to be prideful. Or it's not, I wanted to know, and I was taught that I could know for myself. A connection with Source, a connection with Christ. And I was invited to do that. From the religious cult, which was my conversion story, which ended up turning out to be a form of cult magic used against me because I didn't understand how manifestation works. And then I'm also told, that manifestation and New Age is just another lying deception. I don't even claim to believe that any of my beliefs are true to the point of a prideful triggering, because it's not really, like, I don't have a spiritual identity. I don't have a spiritual ego. It's more like a scaffolding. I don't have a spiritual or religious ego. I don't have that identity. I don't act like or pretend like I know anything. I just share and I observe and I honor that, but I really don't know. And of course someone like me who's thought that they've known things, in a religious way, that blown up in my face eventually, because all the shadows and the darkness and the limiting beliefs and the fear and the pain and the stress and the anxiety and the depression and the hopelessness and the aloneness and the isolation and all my sense of self-worth and all my sense of self-love, that was taken away from me too. And I've been orphaned so many times. I mean, in a metaphorical sense, but it's like a feeling, Once believing in divine parents and then being indoctrinated through a religious cult that promoted such beliefs, and then realized, well, that's a religious cult and I can't trust that anymore. And so now I'm orphaned, and then, growing up with emotionally immature parents and not being able to connect with them, now I'm orphaned. Not being able to fit in this world, now I'm orphaned. And so I'm just like orphaned, and I'm hurt, and I don't really know if people are so much prideful in the sense that they think that they know things, but I think it's just that their sense of knowing is what promotes love for themselves, or it helps them to love others, I assume, if it's actual love. And I don't know if that's like a prideful shadow projection in its entirety. But sometimes I really feel like it's more like protecting your love for yourself. Is it masked with pride? I don't know. But love is something I think we all want to protect and we all want to take care of. But we also, can't be so prideful to the point where we can't listen to other people and relate to them, because I think that's what love is. And that's what I mean. That begs the question, what is love? That begs the question, who are you? And I'm talking to you, and I don't know who you are. And I've grown so much in my own way, in my own path, but I was kind of forced to in order to survive. You know, I really wish you could relate to me. I wished anybody could. I wish there was someone to help me. I wished for love. And so it's like I'm back at zero, where I just kind of looped in on itself. And, hey, I feel better now. I don't have cult trauma eating away at my heart center anymore. But what do I do now? What do I do with you now? How do I actually deepen a connection with Source? Dude, I don't know who you are. But then I'm told how great you are and how loving you are. And I'm told all these things that are good and that are positive and supportive, and my experience has been quite the opposite, but well, it's been a mix of things, actually. Which, I gotta say, what do you want from me? Because all I had to do was learn to be myself and learn to love myself. My spiritual journey was very strange, my religious journey, and then my spiritual awakening, and then, I don't know, I couldn't help it. It all started with seeing angel numbers. That's what it started with. I don't know, is that bad? Is that evil? Is that New Age? Is that occult? Is that being misled? That I started seeing 1111 everywhere? I was asking for your help. I was. And I don't know where you were. And, when I started awakening, it kind of felt like I was. But it kind of led me down something else. But it didn't let me down. But, I don't fit in any box. I don't fit in any category. And I've done enough shadow work, and I've unraveled and understood much of my time in a religious cult to know that the pitfalls come from a closed mind. and the karma that comes from it. But I'm telling you, like, this is how I healed my sense of self-worth. Maybe other people wouldn't find it holy, I guess. Or they wouldn't find it the right way, or they wouldn't find it the path. They would find it misled or deceptive, and yet, okay, I don't like it. It's almost like I can't trust, or I can't work with something, and you know what? That's what I'm saying. It's like I don't have an identity in religion or spirituality. I don't have an ego there, so I can't get offended, you know. My mode of operation, my creed is love. And to share with other people. But I've definitely felt ego highs. A lot of people in the religious cult that I was in did too, and I did too as well. And it wasn't until I had to face the fact of my own shadow, which, you know, I don't even know like what sin is, because I don't even know what you are, and I don't even, you know, like that there's a whole bunch of implication between that, and you know, it's just like, hey, I'm humble, you know, but at the same time, it's like, what the fuck is actually healthy for me? And then, like, what the fuck do you want for me? Because, you know, there just seems to be some kind of confliction. And I kind of feel like I'm walking in between, like, 3 different worlds now. Where I can listen without getting triggered. But the only reason why I don't get triggered is because I'm humble enough to admit I don't know anything. If anything, I might get a little bit hurt. Because some of the things people tell me, you know, if I had to see it exactly their way, I don't understand how they feel love with their own perspective. Because I can observe judgment. So I don't know, it's like some people say they find comfort. And I mean, isn't everyone looking for comfort? Isn't something, I thought you said you would give us comfort. You know, I thought, you know, you in Christ, I thought you would give us comfort. I thought you would give us rest. You know, I asked for that when I was younger. You know, when I was seeing the shadow beings, when I was having the demonic dreams, when I was having these really bad thoughts, when I would read, you know, the Mormon scriptures, and then I feel 10 times worse, or sometimes just even opening my scriptures, I would just cry instantly at the despair and hopelessness I had felt, trying to connect with you, trying to ask you for help. And then one of the times was orchestrated by occultism to separate myself from Source as a way to be converted into their cult Christian, false Christian religion. You know, that actually made it really hard. You know, that was really hard for me, by the way. That was so fucking painful. And, do you think, like, I haven't been told that New Age and spirituality is wrong or of the devil? Do you not, like, honestly, like, you know, I've heard these things. And then it was like, well, ironically, it was the thing that helped save me. And I don't even know if it was the thing itself. I can honestly say, for something of my own observation, I don't really think that it's necessarily beliefs or identities or labels or categories of belief systems. I really think that it's just love and having someone to relate to and someone to understand me. Otherwise, I would just be told what to do or be told what to believe, and then there would be no friendship, there would be no connection, there would be no relatability. And I felt like that my whole life, being too scared to speak. I only had you up until when I got converted, and then after 18, and then I got more freedom to deal with the harshness of reality, not living a scheduled life. And it kind of really did feel like spirituality, or at least some of my friends there were the answer to my prayers. But it really sucks that that was the only way I had to get it. Because I was so hurt and broken. And it's so ironic, because people would say, oh no, that's bad, that's wrong, that's of the devil. And then it's like, well, here am I, with all this new knowledge and new healing and new connections and new love. And I found it in a place where they told me I could never find it. I found it in a place where they told me I would be led astray. I don't know, I think there's some value that some people don't want to look at. Because, I don't know, it just seems so ungrounded. I don't understand. A lot of spiritual stuff does feel and seem and look ungrounded. It's actually really even hard to explain it or talk about it. But you don't think that I wasn't the least bit scared or curious or worried about deception going into these things? Oh no, I was. I was scared. But it was such a beautiful thing to meet people who actually cared, who actually loved me, and who actually could support me in the way no one else did for me, to help me believe in myself. Where were you? Where were you? I don't know. People make it seem like their belief system based off of you, Christ, is somehow so cut and dry, but I don't think so. But then again, what do I know? I don't know shit. And I've been trying to understand. But I've understand that that I have the humility to admit that I don't know anything, and that's how I've grown my understanding. You think you know everything, you're confined to your idea of what you think everything is. I think the biggest pride there is out there is acting like you know when you really don't. It's not being able to realize mistakes. It's not being able to listen to other people. I don't know. But I'm very careful with that. I'm very, very careful with that. Because I don't want what they did to me in religion for me to do that to other people. And that's why I explain things thoroughly. And that's why I'm honest. And that's why I'm humble. And that's why I don't participate in cult mentality. Because I actually seek to end that, and I actually want real connection and real divinity. It's very inspiring to see how other people did it outside of religion. How some people found spirituality despite religious abuse. Because it really had felt like to me that this was all that there was left. Well, I don't know. I mean, the things that happened to me, it's not just something that you could just switch over and then be so-called cured. I wouldn't even say that I'm cured. I don't know. I mean, it's like people, I don't know, people get so concerned about offending you, offending God, offending Christ. But I don't even know you. I don't even know if you even have an ego to be offended. You know, and I see things through this lens because this is the lens that helps me understand things. But hey, you know, if I was a fucking little kid, 13 years old, you know, I really believed you could be offended. I really, you know, but then it's like I was taught that you're loving, and then it's I don't know, what the heck. But, you know, I've always been good in those aspects. I just, you know, I think age plays a big part. I don't know, I don't really, I'm telling you, I don't fit in a box, and I don't even know you, so how can I even create a box centered on you? Or how could I even create a belief system centered on you if I don't even know you? I wonder if that offends you. You know, if we're going to talk about you being offended, I wonder if you get offended by people who claim to know you. I mean, you know, I've testified of my own religion being the true religion in your name, despite that it was a religious cult and I didn't even know. And I did that up to the point where I couldn't. And that was the last time I told the congregation at church, the religious cult church. That was the last time. Because I had gotten so much darkness and so much despair and all this, that it really didn't make sense for me to say that this was the true church. And you know what was so special is that my testimony, despite, you know, not knowing what had happened to me, and that it was a setup by occult magic. It was really a setup. You know. But look, I had to find that out through occultism, the thing that people said that I shouldn't look to. And they were using it against me. And then I'm taught, well, no, you know, all these churches are this and they're all that and they don't know the truth. And I'm like, dude, no one knows you. I mean, it's like, I don't even understand. Like, what the fuck is the atonement? Like, what the fuck? What is the meaning of anything? Because everyone has a different meaning. It's just... I'm saying, like, I'm very concerned. Like, why are people telling me something that if I had not fixed my own sense of self-worth, hearing what they had said would only hurt me so much more? I mean, because it's being told what to think, being told what to believe, and it's just like, where's the connection, where's the relatability, where's the understanding? And it's always like, well, if no one, like, I don't get it. Like, I had people, you know, like, people literally in Mormonism would, like, go and pray about who they should marry. And then there'll be, like, 3 dudes going up to this girl and saying, oh, God said you should marry me. Or, like, we should be together. Or it's just, like, what? Like, I don't know. And then, you know, it's like, I don't even know what a Christian is anymore. I mean, like, gosh, like, I was in a religious cult that disguised itself as Christianity. I mean, what, like, And I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like, hey, if I want to know anything, it has to be from the source itself. But like, I'm not going to put pressure on myself to believe in something that I don't know about. And I'm just being honest. Like, I think it would actually be more deceptive, to talk about how people need to convert to believe in you, and that they should only pray to you, and that they should only look to you, and that they should, not look at any other system, and then tell people to do that, and then I follow that, but then I'm not even like fully aware of what it is I'm following. Like, and also I kind of know too much to do that like consciously and be okay with it. Like, I don't know, I feel like my connection to you should feel secure. Like, it should always feel secure, because that's what, isn't that what you said? Or is it like a thing where we're not ever supposed to feel secure in our belief in you, and that we are always supposed to be challenged, and that we're always like, we're like in this war in heaven type concept where it's just us against the world, and it's this duality, this separation and division, and that, this world is crazy and we only need you, and then we're just kind of hopeless and helpless. And then somehow it's like we're supposed to have the Holy Spirit, and like, I like, look, I don't even know what the fuck that is. I just thought it meant feeling good and feeling hopeful and being close to God and feeling loved by God. That's what I thought it meant. And ironically, my interpretation of why it felt so bad, why I couldn't, I'm sorry, I'm tripping over my words. My interpretation of why I couldn't connect to you anymore back in my teenage years was because I had lost love for myself, and that had hurt my ability to feel love from you. And now I'm saying, well, hey, I have my self-worthiness back. I have my self-love back, and I don't have a religious or spiritual ego, and I don't think that I know anything, and I'm quite honest that I know nothing. And there's a question of like, well, what is it, And like, nothing's like perfect, and I have problems even now, and I have ways of trying to connect to the divine. I'm thinking about it, but it's always like, well, what the fuck do I do? And then people are telling me to go to you, and I'm like, well, yeah, I did that, and I failed apparently, and now I don't even know if my own interpretation of why it seemed like you stopped helping me. I don't even know why that even happened. I don't even know what is the interpretation of that, because it's like always being told like, yeah, God's there for you, and then seemingly it feels like I'm not. And not that I was angry, but I was just incredibly hurt, because like, when I needed you the most, you weren't there, and I had to find other things. So, but I don't think anyone can really validate that other than myself. And I feel like it's just a very personal thing. Like, I don't understand, telling people what to be or telling people what to do. I think that causes more separation and division, if that. But I feel like, if all the great things being said about you, I thought we would have more unity. But I don't know. Maybe it comes down to a point of humility instead. So there, that begs the question, like, what do I do now? Am I supposed to ask for help from Christ, who I don't even know? Am I supposed to ask for the Holy Ghost, who I don't even know? Am I supposed to believe in Christianity, which I don't even know what that is, because I only seen the dysfunction of it? Am I supposed to like do that? I mean, that's what I was trying to do before all this happened and I spiritually awoken. I was trying to do that. I was doing everything I can, but oh no, I did it the wrong way because I did it through the cult religious way, and that's why it didn't work. Okay, well, now I'm here. And, and I guess it's just a matter of like, hey, I don't know you, but, I got something I want to say. I want to be honest with what you represented to me at my young years. To me, being 13 years old, believing in God was beautiful. Having an intention to connect to divinity was beautiful. Feeling loved was beautiful. Being told that God was the divine father of my spirit it was like having another parent. It was like being adopted. But I gotta say, it got me through the hard times. But prayer kind of felt like a one-way conversation. 'Cause I cried to you a lot when I was young. I cried over my parents' divorce. I cried over my baptism because I didn't want to get baptized because the Mormon way of doing it is just really weird. And I didn't get baptized that day with the rest of my family. Well, some of them, not all of them, were converted, and even then they weren't actually converted. They didn't really believe in it. And I'm just reflecting, like, what did you mean to me before shit hit the fan? That's what you meant to me. I don't know. I mean, I didn't have any conditions for the divine. I didn't put the divine in a box when I was a kid. And it felt okay to put them in a box. Because I was humble and I was learning how to connect with you. But also, I was young and I didn't really understand what it was I was getting into. Of course, much less knowing what religious cults were. And I was lied to, of course, by the Mormon missionaries. And I don't even think that they knew that they were lying, but it felt like if I had followed you and if I had listened to you, then I would have been blessed with a nice life. That I would have been blessed with having less pain. And that somehow there was a power we could share together. And I had felt that power once when I cried about how lonely I was and how I didn't have any friends in school. I had other problems with my family, bullying. And I prayed to you that one time. And you actually did make my burden light. And then after that, I don't know what happened. I think my assumption was that I lost my sense of self-worth because of the religious beliefs. Because asking for you for help, you didn't do that for me. And I don't know why you did it for me that one time. Where I actually did feel peace. Where I was from crying and feeling tormented and alone to not feeling peaceful. Still. Was that not the power of the Holy Ghost? Was that not a miracle? I didn't even know what magic was. I didn't know what occultism was. I didn't know what cults were. I didn't know what spirituality was. All I knew was that I had been told that you would help me, and that you would be there for me, and that you would love me, and so long as I was obedient, that you would help me, and that I would have the Spirit of Christ to be with me and to bless me as if Christ was there. I'm a bit disgusted at how I am now, and I don't mean it like that. I just mean I'm just confused. Because there's so much interpretation of what happened and what I've observed and what I've felt and what I had to deal with and how I had to move forward and how I had to. And I was just so honest and I really cared, and I had this amazing thing happen to me. And I had this amazing experience, and I had felt what it was like as a child to believe in God and how simple it was. And then things got more complicated. Whose fault is that? Why did that happen? I don't like all these mystery. I don't like all these questions, and I definitely do not like having my support, my divine support, taken away from me. What am I? Am I a victim? Is it my fault? It's actually kind of funny. I don't know, there's just so many mixed feelings about it. So it's like, well, I'm not really a victim. I'm not really angry. And I said I was disgusted, but it's just more like a confusion thing. But it's like, it kind of makes my stomach churn a bit. And I think I don't know, I don't think disgusted is the right word, but it's just more like, it's just a gross feeling of experiencing something that only people who had the exact same experiences I did could understand. And I don't, it's so bizarre because it's like, oh yeah, have your own personal testimony of Christ. Have your own personal relationship with Christ. That's beautiful. That's great. That's the only way to know the thing. And then you do, and then you can't share it with anyone else because no one else would understand it. So, right? And I don't even understand it. Isn't that crazy? So, I mean, like, are you trying to say that it's a personal thing? Because I'm saying that it's a personal thing. And that's one of the things that kind of makes me feel so sick when people preach about you, because I'm like, I don't think anyone would really understand unless they've had specific experiences about you, or whether they are like wholesome experiences or it's indoctrination or it's fear-based. I don't really know, because I mean, people will literally use different egos and different perceptions of you and your name and this and that, and there's just so much trickery and there's just so much deception, and then that it's like, well, what the heck? So, okay, I'll tell you what I can do. I could try to at least have a personal experience with you, but I will tell you what I will not do. I will not foist beliefs onto other people. I will not tell other people to believe in you. I will not try to convert people. I don't find that useful or helpful, because, like I said, if it's based on personal relationship, then the only people who are going to get it are people who have experiences like me, and all I have ever done was share my own experience and my own observations. But I never thought like I could replace you. I never thought I could replace God. I never thought, like, I wasn't egotistical about it. Like, my spiritual journey was just looking for help, really. Like, I didn't, like, I don't get, like, triggered. It's just, like, it's just more like I've noticed that, people that are either against you or for you, or people who are kind of in the middle, or people who are like me, where, like, they had experiences with you, and then shit hit the fan, and then they're spiritual now, or even spiritual / occult now, because that's kind of where I am. I'm, like, partially, like, one foot in the door with, I mean, not necessarily religion, because I don't have identity in that, but I do have experiences there, and I do have observations there, but I don't have identity there. So I guess you could say it's like I'm a combination of experiences and observations in my relationship with Christ, I suppose, and experiences and observations in a religious cult. And I have experiences and observations in spirituality, and I have experiences and observations in occultism. And they all kind of somehow work together because of the shadow work and the honesty and the humility that binds them. Which, by the way, is what I used to reconfigure my sense of self-worth. Okay, but, that, I mean, like I said, I was kind of forced to, and I didn't know what else to do with you, and, the shadow work has really helped me, because there's just a lot of liars and a lot of people who don't really say what they mean. And so, like, I'm very unsure, like, what is the significance of my connection to you at this moment? I don't know the significance of it, and I have yet to explore the significance of it, and because I don't know you, how am I going to figure out what you want me to do with my connection with you? Now that I can have one, and now that it's finally back, but I found it through realizing the connection of my own love to myself in a healthy way. I see so much, like, misdirection and stuff. I'm confused. But I don't know. I mean, I think knowing is the only thing that would make me confused. I think realizing how much I don't know is actually more freeing and less judgmental, and it's more honest, because there's nothing to protect. It's just simply validating and honoring my own experience. I don't know, but people say that I'm supposed to... Oh man. People say that I'm supposed to, like, pray to you, and people say I'm supposed to ask for your spirit, and people say I'm supposed to... I guess repent. I don't even, like, know, like, like, the specialty or the honesty, or like what is these things that they speak of, that they want. I don't even know if, like, people were even supposed to worship you. I don't even know if you wanted to be worshipped. Like, I don't, like, I don't actually know you. I never met you. And if I did, I would ask you some questions. But, it would have been great, had I met you and could relate to you, but instead I had to meet other people who could relate to me. So that way we can talk about those hard things that are hard to talk about. I don't know, there's like a strange dualism, non-dualism. There's a strange in and out. There's a strange this and that. I don't know, people said that you should be the cornerstone or the forefront of my religious beliefs. Do you want me to do that, though? And even if I did, or if I asked for it, or if I intended to, I don't actually know what would happen or come from, because I don't actually, like, I don't have any expectation. Like, I don't mean I don't have any expectation, like I don't believe. I mean, like, I don't have any expectation because I don't put you in a box for how you're supposed to manifest in my life. But, like, there's other perspectives, and there's other, I guess you could say, schools of thought that have certain ideas on the divine and this and that. I kind of resonate with those magic occultism things, but, like, I'm very honest and sincere, and I don't have an over commitment in any one of these things to the point where I feel like I know shit, because I don't, which is why I don't try to convert people. And it's just really more like a relatability thing, and just an honesty thing, and just, like, and I mean, honestly, like, I learned more about the idea of the divine from spirituality and occultism than I ever did from religion. Granted, it was a religious cult, and I don't even know what, like, actual Christianity is at this point. I don't even, because everyone's got different, like, standards and observations and this and that, and there's, like, a lot of, like, contradicting information, contradicting experiences in of itself. Talking about honoring your own experiences, you'll find a person who has an experience with this that says, oh, this is good, and then another person will say, oh, this experience is bad, and this and that. And it's always been experiences, and then it's like the interpretation of that experience and the understanding of that experience, and then it's like, well, you don't know anything. I'm like, yeah, I don't. And then it's also like, well, the experiences kind of mold ourselves, and and I don't really think that it would be beneficial to like tell anyone what to do or what to believe based on our own experiences, unless they are asking for someone who can relate to them. And at least there could be some direction for them to go, and that's only if they resonate with it. I feel a little dizzy, a little nauseated. I don't know why. I don't know. I mean, I've been crying a little bit, but still. Well, I decided to be curious. To be honest, I decided that I needed to learn to love myself. I decided that I needed to express myself. I decided those things because they were true and they required me to face my fears, and I chose to fear not. That's what I chose. That's what my experiences made me choose. But like, I'm like telling you, if I had argued with a spiritual or occult person, I would have told them my conversion story, testimony of being converted to the Mormon church, and I would have said, well, no, that stuff is wrong or that stuff is bad because this is my experience and this is what God told me, and God told me the Mormon church is true. Of course, it's a religious cult, but it didn't know. But I'm telling you, it's like, yeah, I had an experience that decided what I was going to believe in until shit hit the fan, and I decided like I can't work with that anymore, and that was a weird transition because it wasn't like a black and white thing. It was like, well, what the fuck happened to me? It was like, whoa, I need love, or whoa, I need someone to understand me, or whoa, I don't understand, why this and that happened with my relationship with God. Why did this and that happen with my relationship with myself? What caused it? What affected it? Like if I had just stuck to my conversion into Mormonism, and if I had quote unquote stayed obedient to that, and I had demonized everything else, I probably would have killed myself. Because it really gave me no hope. And that's where I kind of was at 18 years old, feeling a bit hopeless, and I just had to be honest with you, and I said, look, I can't go to church anymore. I can't do this anymore because I don't feel good anymore when I do these things. And so then it's like, okay, well, being told about how these other things are wrong or scary or bad, and don't look at them and don't believe in them and don't be curious about them, and then it's like, well, it actually helped me. So, and I asked you for help. I tried. So it's almost like, well, what am I supposed to do with you? And what do you want to tell me now? And like, I don't even know. Like, I don't know you, and so I don't even know, like, what's the importance of asking for something that I don't even know what I'm asking for. I think, wouldn't you prefer that I ask for something that I know what I'm asking for? I'm like, I don't have an idea of like what your criteria or understanding is along the lines of religion. Occultism and spirituality has stuff that's more comprehensive, at least. Well, because I feel like if religion made things so much more cut and dry, a lot of people are making it cut and dry, but it's so cut and dry that the only people who would listen are people who had certain experiences in that realm or that area. And there's so many different experiences that one could have that is relating to Christianity or relating to the power of Christ or relating to Christ or whatever. Through me, it's from my time being in a religious cult. That's where I find my connection to you. At least the good parts. but like I'd never really met anybody like me. And it's an interesting thing, I don't know. Because I kind of did, a little bit. Kind of did meet someone who could relate to me. I gotta say, I'm not traditional. And I'm going to continue being myself, and I'm going to continue doing what I love and what feels right to me. Because that's how I even got here, as a phoenix out of the ashes in the first place. And you didn't tell me to do that. I had some friends tell me to do that. Friendship. Such a blessing, because I didn't have it growing up. I really didn't. It's one of the things I cried to you the most about growing up. It was my loneliness. It was one of my biggest shadows. Because it was also this conditional measurement on my own self-worth. Being, how could I be lovable? How could I love myself if no one seems to love me? If nobody seems to want to be my friend. And I had to make the realization, well, how could anyone be my friend? If I'm not a friend to myself, how could anyone be my friend? If I can't even express myself, how is it that someone could love me, There's supposed to be all these things wrong with me. And it's just like, no, I didn't deserve any of that. I was just in a bad environment. I was just not given the love and care that I was supposed to. I didn't know how to communicate things that happened to me. I didn't understand. And if there was any objection, my own experience would not be validated, because I was taught this is the way things are. These are the way things are supposed to be. And if you don't like it, well, it's your fault. Or that there's no mercy, there's no relatability, there's no connection, there's no empathy, there's no compassion. This world is cruel. And only certain people get connections with God and certain people don't. Only certain people get love and certain people don't. And you don't know why. And you gaslight yourself into thinking, what the fuck is wrong with me? What did I do? What was wrong? And then when you finally get love, it's something you want to protect, right? It would have been nice if you could just tell me what was wrong with me when I asked for your help. Back when I only had you to look to, because I didn't know anything else. I don't know why you didn't tell me that. I had to get it from other people, and then it's a strange spiral. I kind of feel like you did, but then some people are telling me that no, I was just misled. I mean, honoring my own experience is the only thing that I can do. I think, I think that's pretty reasonable. There's lots of people who aren't honest. And they're using that as their influence to hurt other people and mislead other people. I don't know you, and I don't know me. Is that enough? Is that enough to get into heaven? Haha, am I good enough? I don't know. I don't know. Because I don't know you. But I don't want to live life in fear. Because it pulls me down, and fear just creates more fear. And if I fear for myself, I would only fear for others. There's a lot of implication of things in life that it's like I could listen and I could hear. I could not be triggered, especially now. Because my sense of self-worth is healed. And I feel a lot more peaceful. But it's still concerned. Because I could hear other perspectives and not get offended. But then again, it's like, is it wrong that I don't pick sides? I don't like people fighting. I knew what it was like to have sides pitted against me. But I gotta be honest, like I've been upset, I've been frustrated, I've been impatient on my spiritual journey. A lot of spirituality is weird. A lot of occultism is very strange. I'm honest about it, but I find value in it. And I think, because I'm not really too overly committed to any one thing. I feel like I could receive more, and I feel like I could have opportunity to be blessed from any point of perspective. Well, then, I don't know. It's like there begs the question, like, if I were to just... if I were to just, like, call myself a convert, I don't know how I'd feel about that in and of itself. I mean, I've just grown. Like, I just evolved. I just grown. Like, I don't know what, I don't know, understand, I don't know what. And my cat's trying to knock on my door. Anyway, I guess my cat's hungry. I need to feed him. I'm just saying, like, if it was easy to connect with you, if there was a way to help people like me that didn't require all this extra life experience that I had to deal with, I would have done it. But no one has shown me how to do that. And I've never met anyone who was successful. I never met anyone who was honest about it. Never met a person, like kind of like me in that regard. And I just, like, I have a hard time relating to people who don't seek to relate to other people, but just tell people what to believe. Well, if anything, I've noticed, like, the biggest change that I have gotten was simply from the love of friends. That's what community is, right? And then, it just begs the question, well, what is divinity good for? What is it used for? What is it meant for? I was always assuming, like, it's for good things. And then it's like, well, what is good? But of course, like I said, it's like my own interpretations of things, my own experiences with things, feeling the exact opposite of it, trying to regain it back, trying to understand what it is, trying to understand what happened to me. It's like, like, hey, if you could just tell me, hey, this is what love is, or hey, this is what this is, and hey, well, even if it doesn't make sense to you, like, let me at least talk to you, let me at least just get to know you, and then maybe we could find a way for it to make sense for you. But I don't even get that. Like, I don't even get that. I just get told, well, you got problems, don't listen to them, and just believe this now. I don't know, I guess there's like that level of that connection, like connection to divine. Like, it would have been fucking awesome if it could have felt like connection with a person, but like much more better. That would feel awesome. That would be great. But I don't think you do things that way, do you? Um, I just, the only thing I could do is ask, but like if I'm gonna ask help from you, like you gotta work with me too. Like it has to be like a relationship. That's what a relationship is, right? Otherwise it's like being bossed around and being told what to do. It's kind of like a narcissistic thing, and it's like, well, I mean, I'm talking to you now, I'm connecting to you now, even though you already know everything about me. But why do I even talk to you like this? Well, because that's what relationships are. And that's my showing to you of how I am actually being completely honest. And I'm okay with that because it's true. Everything I've said was true. As far as I know, anyway. I mean, how else can I see it other than my own personal experience? I'm saying, we could work together, but I don't know if you work that way either. Do you not work like within together, or is it just like you just tell me what to do? Is that your idea of working together? I don't know. I don't know. It's just they really got a very dysfunctional masculine way of perceptions of God or Christ, and I'm not sure. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I just think it just comes down to experiences and our interpretations of experiences and what we choose to believe based on those things. Like, because so many people can like connect and then get so many different interpretations of what they should do or what they should believe or what they should tell people or what this and that. And I'm telling you my experience. And I don't know, like, what is it? What is my experience other than my experience? Like, is it not good enough? Well, hey, it was good enough for me. I fucking survived. And for a while, it actually wasn't good enough. And I actually wanted to kill myself, so... I mean, can we argue with that? Like, can we really argue with that? Or is it just like... I don't know anything. Like, I don't know anything. And that's why I'm honest, like, with my curiosity of things and this and that. Like, I've always been honest, so I think. So, thank you, I guess. And we'll see what we can do to work together, um, but because I don't know anything about you and you know everything about me, I think that our cooperation, our connection together is more than likely going to be non-traditional. Um, and maybe that might piss some people off because then they'll think that I don't believe in you or something. Even though, like, I'm recording it and I'm honest about it and I'm saying it, and I mean, I literally have an archive of everything I've been through that confirms what I'm talking to you about. That's the story of my life. But, you know, I guess anyone could just claim that I'm not telling the truth or whatever. But, I mean, hey, it's like this is why I do what I do. This is who I am. I share very vulnerable stuff, so, you know, liars don't even remember the things that they lied about. Because people who tell the truth, no matter how long they speak, you will never find a lie or a contradiction because what they're saying is true. But a person who is lying, eventually, they'll slip up. And you'll catch it. But I feel secure in my connection to the divine. I found that I feel secure because of my connection to myself. And I gotta say, you know, accepting myself is what allowed me to change. But then, you know, I can't say I did it by myself, and I'm not, like, prideful to think, like, oh, it was all done by me. Like, I had friends, but it was really the love of my friends and their own experiences of my friends. That's what it was. Not that I don't give credit to you or anything, or I don't even know if you care about that, because, again, I don't know you, so, I know it's just a really strange thing. Like, how do I explore my connection to divinity? Where do I decide where my beliefs come from, and where do I, you know, where do I stand? I guess the only way to know is to have a near-death experience, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I could ask for one. Maybe I could pray for one and see what I get. That'd be interesting. I think that would be interesting if I did. I have no problem, you know, connecting with divinity. I have no problem asking for divinity for help, but it's like I kind of do have a little bit of a problem if I'm not really sure what I'm connecting to and, like, working with that. Like, I don't, you know, I don't know. I mean, I kind of am trying, but that's the only thing I could do is just try, because I don't know, I'm just honest about that, you know. Well, just know, like, I always keep you in mind. And I always had kept you in mind. I just didn't know how to fix my connection with you, and I kind of know now. And I hope maybe it would help other people feel more connected with you, but, you know, it's not really my intention to, like, have people believe what I believe or follow me or, or think that I know things, because I don't, and I'm honest that I don't know things. So let it be said, let it be heard. If anything, I would rather much promote each person their own experience with the divine. And just having the honesty and the vulnerability to share their own experiences. Because I feel like that is so, so important in this world. Is our connection to each other, working with each other, not judging one another, and holding each other's space for one another, and seeing how we got through our darkest hours. And I'm pretty sure, we get through it with love, or if anything, a dysfunctional version of love, or with distractions. Which, you kind of have to feel a little bit safe to release that trauma. And if you don't feel safe, it's kind of hard to be vulnerable. We can only grow in vulnerability, though. And I guess that's like the scariest part of it. That's like the shadow work aspect of it. It's like stars are only visible in darkness. And behind fright, there is light. Yeah. But I guess I'll have to experiment with you. And I have to see for myself, what you're capable of, or how you connect. And yeah, I'll have to see what works with you. I'll just have to do that. And maybe one day, or I don't know, maybe some signs might show up. Maybe things will start to work. And we can work together, maybe. But like I said, it's probably going to be very much non-traditional. Because I don't fit in a box, and I don't put you in a box. But that means I can get so creative with it. And you get to witness my creativity. You could say my God-given gift of creativity and curiosity and willingness to explore. I've always, I figured like our talents or gifts like come from somewhere anyway, right? Wouldn't you could say that's from God, right? Yeah, I guess this is where it's going to be. I think this is the end of it. It's very intriguing. I think this was a good conversation. We'll see what we can do. And I'll see what I can share, and I will continue to be me. And I don't fit in a box, and I'm definitely nonconformist, so it's been my strategy. It's worked so far, so like unless it doesn't work, then I'll see if there has to be a change, and I'll have to observe that and work with that and be honest about that, because you can't change if you're not honest, and you can't change if you're too prideful. I think change is one of the best things about me. That, obviously I know I am of infinite worth, but I think my ability to change is something that especially makes me feel worthy, in a sense. I have a great appreciation for that. Great appreciation for change. because it's one of the things that it's really hard to do. What's your perspective on change? Do you feel like it's special too? Anyway, that's all I have to say. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.